Okie dokie. We're tuning in for the week ahead now. So happy eclipse. How was it? I slept supremely. And it's ebbing and flowing sometimes around the solstices and the equinoxes. We are approaching the September equinox, which lands right around that final eclipse in the last degrees, the anaretic degrees of Virgo. So we're definitely in a supercharged Virgoan energy because of that axis. But really significant lunations in alignment with astounding outer planet changes. We now have all the outer planets, Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn have moved into new signs. Pluto's staying in Aquarius, but everything's going retrograde. Pluto's is also out of bounds, which is representative of like the rising people energy. So protesting, power to the people. You feel me? So that's all happening. And with Saturn and Neptune, everything's getting restructured internally, externally. Truly, by next February and into next spring, a lot of us, our lives will be very different. The way that we're perceiving, the way that we're structuring. And again, these outer planets, Uranus moving into Gemini, so our thinking, our higher mind, all of that is going to be transformed. And like the way that we process, what up, divine side? I've just realized I'm live. Normally these are unlisted. What? Isn't that funny? Because I was looking through my photos, divine sight, and a post that you made probably many years ago, which I literally, like, within the last 20 minutes was like, I feel like I could post that because it's so funny. It's about what the fuckery is about. Anyway, I might send it to you just to remind you of the hilarity of it. So the Uranian activity transforming our mind. I'm aware that with Pluto and Aquarius as a collective, we are going to be facing the digital takeover age and the corruption and or manipulation vibration of our mind. So I'm sensing in me and again more of the collective, we're going to be talking about how much these phones and devices are impacting us and potentially corrupting our mind and our ability to think critically and our ability to think autonomously. And for myself and certainly this community, we're more aware. We're aware of the addiction of the phones and like how we're all becoming like sort of individual robots in the way that we're using our phones. I don't. So funny. I know I went live quite quickly. Holding the frequency, yeah. And gosh, increasingly I'm craving the silence and the stillness and the listening, right? Hence communicating that listening, broadcasting those frequencies as and where we can, whether we're working online, whether we're in our communities, right? But increasingly in my online and in my real-time community, it's like a big thing, these phone addictions. I teach meditation on retreat. So it's like talking about putting our phone down, cultivating greater stillness and silence so we maintain our connection to our divine source in remembrance that it is a beautiful thing that we're expanding in a quantum way via internet and via online connections, and yet to use discernment and to maintain our autonomy as spiritual beings is going to be more of a thing. Certainly for the grassroots movements, the people that are already kind of vibing in that new paradigm, so that our minds and souls aren't completely taken over by some of you might be aware by some of those narratives of oligarch and technocrats kind of taking over and maybe not having the best intentions for the planet, for the people of this planet. So collectivizing within the heart center for a stronger and more autonomous and yet spiritually connected humanity that align with the idea that we share this planet, that we share the resources of this planet, and that we're one with her. We're not here to dominate her. We're here to experience, you know, and the experience of this life is just wow. Happy blood moon as well. I have clients in Abu Dhabi who sent me some amazing pictures that they took of it. I was sleeping. I had about a 10-hour sleep last night. And I'm more aware of that sometimes, as much as I think the energy is going to peak, personally, I get kind of like, poo, it's really heavy. Plus, I'm Saturnian. So Saturn at the anaretic degrees of Pisces, retrograding back there, really digging into these profound spiritual energies and death, you know, in the death archetype that we're embracing our own potential ego death, that aspects of ourself could be dying out, that ways of thinking, especially with the Pluto and the Uranus either side sextiling the Neptune and Saturn. I'm increasingly holding space in awareness for our infinite and eternal connection to the planets within the solar system and galaxy, and the way we really are connected to everything. And that, of course, can open up some of our psychic abilities. And that's going to be a big part of it. Yeah, the old energies, these old constructs, which straight up can be trippy. We're in it. We're here for it. This is a wild ride, always has been, and it will continue to be. And yet those of us with our feet on the ground and our connection to the heart and source and divine, all that, building and structuring new paradigm communities, will continue to be called to share the wisdom, to hold space for the healing. In many ways, a lot of us are already, you know, we're on the path. We are of service. We're of service to our own soul. We're of service to humanity. And indeed, nice one, Divine Sight, as truths come to light, the shattering of your old egoic structures and attachments to the false matrix, or like, you don't even need to call it the false matrix, but a corrupted dark agenda and energies that usurp our autonomy and our spiritual essence as loving beings versus this weird, constructive, chaotic, rather destructive, that's what I meant to say, the destructive and chaotic old paradigm of war after war and people dominating and manipulating and destroying this sacred planet. That light is being shone, and that is an aspect of, not to diminish the suffering of anyone, you know, we're here to hold space in loving unity, but like to recognize that increasing kind of demonic energy that is shining into all of our faces is triggering a greater wave of the mass awakening, which again, for a lot of us, that's our, it's like a knowing. It's the knowing. We have been holding space for the masses to awaken for decades, right? And we have the people that have come before and the people that are here now and the people that will continue to be. Shuffling here now, divine guide, divine side, hala, 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 hala. Oh, touch in, divine sight, rather, divine guidance and loving clarity. I'm live right now, and I'm normally making these for the Patreon community that get ad-free first access. They do get exclusive content. I did a special share for them for this eclipse as well. Just messages that could be specifically for my Patreons. And I share on TikTok, I share on Instagram and Facebook. So I put out usually daily, little 10-minute daily readings for that collective. I don't send DMs and I don't reply to DMs, just through the ongoing experience of navigating the internet. Okie dokie. So I'm channeling energy and messages for and from the tarot. I use 7 decks. I'm an intuitive reader. You can go to my website and book private readings. You can also book consultations if you're curious and or wanting to work with me in a yoga, meditation, breathwork context. I do usually do transit astro readings and tarot readings for my long-term or people that are buying packages with me for yoga. And if you do end up buying a package, the fee for the consultation will just go toward the package. So in essence, if you book a package, the consultation is free. Divine guidance and loving clarity. This is for my love is supreme. Divine. It's so funny, that energy of connection that I saw I screenshotted that from 2019 or whatever. I obviously, it was so funny to me. I screenshotted it. I will share it with you. Divine guidance and loving clarity. Here, we're possibly maybe thinking about a new beginning, but it's not quite here yet. Ace of Pentacles, a new job, a new opportunity, a new way to resource, finance, and resources for our lives. It's not quite here yet. It feels like there could be either a sense of a new beginning. That's definitely coming through. Like even just in the last 12 hours, certainly with my mega sleep. This morning, holding space and waking up in that, because I vividly remember back earlier this year when Saturn was at the anaretic degrees, not to instill fear, but holding space for the only way to really describe it is dark and quite trippy energy, as in a very visceral, real-time sense that this isn't what it seems necessarily, and that there is so much beyond the veil that as beings we want to be able to hold space for. As in, it was like nothing was real, and yet I was living my life experience and I was still able to go through the motions. But it was like being in the darkness of the void as well, and this, in my little human vessel, being a bit like, whoa, ugh, this is dark, there's dark energies, but I can, because I experienced that a very similar frequency back in 2022. And I suppose as I continue to flow through my existence here, that it will be better communicated once I'm able to integrate more of it. But actually, and that's relevant because, it's similar-ish to having an ayahuasca experience or a kind of psychedelic experience, but I was stone cold sober and feeling in to those energetics. And again, that's why embodiment work and presence and being very, very in the body, because these energies are profound and wild and kind of extreme and definitely probably outside of the conventional three-dimensional perspective. And we are expanding, our minds are expanding, our energetic thresholds are expanding. Hence the call to be grounded, to be present. And increasingly I'm finding having to put my phone down and step away and go out in nature for hours at a time, to not be in that impulsive checking of things, because there is an aspect in that uncertainty, right, with Neptune and Saturn, in that uncertainty, seeking certainty. Keep checking my phone to see if there's some creator or some person out there that can that can affirm my reality, right? Or that maybe the answers are right there in my phone. But then it's down to those primary teachings of knowing thyself. It's not about knowing what's on the phone or knowing what somebody else knows. It's knowing thyself and speaking from a heart of truth. That's part of our visceral recognition of authenticity, when we feel into the knowing of another via self. And that's like the Aquarian Age sutras, where they talk about understand through compassion, or we misunderstand the times. There is no doubt, as painful as some of the shadow work has been and may continue to be, once we land back into compassionate truth, there is an understanding beyond labels. Because that's another theme of our generational healing, is having words like neurodivergency and ADHD and autism. And this will continue to kind of be an aspect of our processing, to understand the workings of our mind, but then on a more three-dimensional level, the brain, and how it gets rewired through trauma, and how we can unravel some of that and eventually disenfranchise or disengage from even having to attach ourselves to any label whatsoever. We are human. We are heart-centered. And it truly is a journey back into the heart, and our ability to listen and feel. And that's often where we're trapped in a three-dimensional gridlock, is that we deny the feelings that we're feeling, and because it's uncomfortable and deep. But that's how the body, the cellular body, releases density of old, or releases density of a certain frequency. Density, dense, right? Heavy matter. So when we're processing that and releasing it through tears or rage or whatever it might be, and detaching from the thought form that keeps it in place, we purge, we alchemize those dense cells into higher frequency. Let's get a few more cards. See, look, I look down, there's the Ten of Swords. So these are big karmic releases. Eclipses in the Pisces and Virgo. Pisces is the last degree, right? It's the oceanic merging of the totality of all that is. So no doubt there's death. And I don't know about you guys, but there's been physical death points as well. You know, people leaving the earthly realm, leaving their bodies. Oh, Hala Shazam. Well, you were meant to be here. It's truly divine, divine sight. Oh my gosh, no doubt. Like, with the last 24 hours or so, there's and viscerally feeling this, the Saturn at the final degree. I knew that energetic would come back round. So release points, death. It can be physical, not, you know, it's part of life. Birth and death. It's so sacred. And that is, again, part of our reclamation of our own sacred connection to the holy divine, is embrace. Oh my goodness, you can't even make it up. Look at what's right underneath the Ten of Swords. So I send a heartfelt hug, right? If any of you out there are losing people in your lives, if some of our elders are choosing to go, or of course, especially in connection to the Ten of Swords, these are karmic releases. People, places, things, and ways of thinking, total whole belief structures just getting washed away with the ocean of Pisces, crumbling the shore of time, right? And the solidity which we once perceived. You know, this is how it is. Patriarchy, this is how it is. And it's always been that way. Oh, really, fool? Oh, really, fool? Because we are, as a collective, stepping into new territory. And that pulls me in as I say that. That's why we're wanting to listen, because the new frontier is within us. predetermined through the structure of our DNA, the crystalline structure of our evolutionary status as beings, right? We don't need to take anything with us, maybe just flower power, the essence of like the lightest load of what we might, it's like not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. That's the baby. We'll take the seed of our intention with us and take a leap into new territory, into new frontiers. I also want to highlight for some of you, I'm really speaking to divine sight in that regard, but there's many others where you've already taken the leap. And now what we're doing is actually grounding into our empowerment. And that it's that flip, and this is often in what comes to light in eclipse portals are like layers, and then suddenly seeing something for like what it is and being like, yeah, that kind of seeing where you can't unsee and it completely changes you or changes the constellation that we're in, business, people, lovers, etc., ourselves as well, because it's all unified, right? So this leap that we have taken, the deaths and the karmic release points that we are in, and also even with that, with the death, there's a Six of Cups. So be open to the old energies coming back around, right? And then but then releasing what no longer serves, and that will be visceral, right? That will be either actual death, or this will be like what hurts us, what betrays us, what maybe makes us abandon ourselves, what feels like people stabbing us in the back, or what is that, right? People that might want to destroy us. And that's a real thing with the witch wound and with historical timelines of persecution, where we deny the wisdom that is born within us in lieu of a false power that uses control, force, and domination. It's being witnessed. Most of us are seeing it on our phones with ongoing war structures, the military war complex, the Federal Reserve, the way it's all intertwined with the political and religious agendas to take over the mind. But those of us in connection to the heart, knowing a deeper truth in connection to divine wisdom, and a broader, more universal truth that is surviving this glorious earthly planet, she knows. And so those of us connecting to Earth's frequency and energy know too, and are in holy, sacred, protected connection with the unfolding of a greater benevolent structure on the planet, i.e., you could call it matriarchal or call it circlical, where we're holding space for one another in our divinity rather than trying to power over one another, rather than trying to control one another through force, or worse, worse, but it's all Shazam, manipulation and deception. And that's where the spidey senses and the kind of psychic quantum knowing is going to become more visceral, more knowing. You know, things that we maybe doubted. Like I taught, well, like earlier in the show, I was talking about this almost dark energy, but it's only because there's an aspect of my shadow that would deny that. But the more I integrate that, the more psychic and intuitive one becomes, because there's no longer the fear of the darkness. It's like my beingness can hold the darkness with the light and find the center in knowing, because there is darkness here. We can't deny the darkness. And in truth, the darkness isn't good or bad. It's just an aspect of creation. Yeah, no doubt. And I would say as well, so divine sight, intuition is off the charts. Holla Shazam. And through all the cycles of learning and processing and all the words, the intuition is just more anchored in the knowing. And there's no doubt. because we've learned that doubt is BS. So all these cycles are just cooking, and then again on another level, finding more of our tribe. For some of us, it's like welcoming in more clients, honing the work for self and other, which is really alchemy and transformation, so that more and more people can awaken to that essence, so that as a collective we continue to build the new grid. There's another death energy. Oh my goodness. So the cards are really yeah, it's time. It's like we are walking away from that which no longer serves us, and if we're not walking away and letting go, it will die. I'm witnessing that too. Like I had a move, and then I almost went right back into these old patterns, like trying to set up classes everywhere, and setting up a workshop, and then it just fizzled out, and I was like, wait, do I want to do that, or is it coming from a place of fear? Is it coming from a place of trying to hold on to a structure that worked for me 12 years ago versus just trusting? Which, it's not easy, particularly. LOL, right. And that, sometimes there's that, I guess, that pleasing part, or that part of me wants to say, like the wounded child, wants to be like, and then it will all get better. But there again, it's like this idea of when, it's like being in the shadows and being like, when will the shadow work end? It's like, well, it doesn't end. We just keep going. And I'm for some reason I'm getting a download about angels and what we'd perceive as more expanded, lighter beings, and they're really beings that have fully integrated the darkness, that hold space in it. They haven't, and then you'd say on the lower base tone, beings that are having to like be parasitic and what we might say is demonic. They're in denial of their shadow and seeking light outside of self. Yoo-hoo. So it's a constant regeneration, and some of us know it as far as having lived in higher frequency timelines. So it's only a knowing that's being remembered, put your members back together and expand into the holding space of a greater totality, and thus allowing that form to come in, rather than like, we got to make it happen because we're in control. That's an illusion, right? Gosh, I'm just like Virgo and Pisces, my golly gee, because it's like the Virgo part of me being able to be analytical and detailed about the Piscean no-thingness, like just the oneness, just the feeling beingness, which is an aspect of a greater truth. And yet here we are in the finite form with Virgo trying to kind of bring it home and be like, how can we embody more of that divine energy? How can we accept more of our darkness and shadow? And how can we embrace death? Celebrate both death and birth. Move through the shadows of pain and darkness with love. It's pretty tricky sometimes, because there's an aspect of the egoic function that would want to deny. And that's part of the screen technology at this stage of our evolution as a humanity. Is it's undeniable that the forces that we've been sold into are functioning from a lower paradigm of control, domination, and force. You can see it. It's right there. Thus, purging, greater awakening, more protesting, more people going, no, don't do that. And then more and more of us that have known all this all along kind of holding space. Simply to allow more people to purge and heal and process. Plant medicine ceremonies, right? Holding space. And that's, I mean, increasingly, we won't even, I mean, yes, the plants of our lands are there for us, and they're a beautiful tool for aligning more into that deeper truth, but they're not the way. We are the way, with or without access to those. That's all. Just giving people permission to know that the truth is within them. As in, that's another aspect that we don't bypass, that we're not seeking those externals, that it's already there. However, they can be a tool to shift maybe more quickly, or like access a deeper insight right then and there in ceremony, but know that it's already there within you. As in, I witnessed my one and only Aya ceremony. I could feel and sense the distortion in the West, or maybe elsewhere, but that people almost like a badge going, I've done it 25 times, or I've, you know, and I'm like, well, then why, what's, you know, if anything, I would say, unless you're on that shamanic journey, why would you need it so many times? It's, you know, you're already there, or we are already there. Oh, sweet. Wow. Oh, I'm just a little bit of shivers there. So one of my sisters, you could say, I went to an ecstatic dance ceremony last Tuesday, and she's been on and on about the lighthouse. Oh. So it would appear to me that we're having the same conversations in different parts of the world without even being in communication right now. The blue flame, spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time. Anchoring it in. And that's like, you know, on like long time meditation, right? So that we're practiced, we're honed in keep coming back into the light, right? No, but they're nice affirmation and or reflection. The everyday life is the medicine. It's like, yeah, and again, it's all valuable. It's all of value. Otherwise it wouldn't exist. It's all there for us. But truly, I feel that too. It's like less and less medicine is needed because the ceremony is out. And the depth and the intensity and the power and all of it is so like, it's like, you don't need to go deeper. No, not unless it's called, right? Like if we're called to. So we're weaving our own web, we're flying high, we're accessing the wisdom with the owl, the eagle, the spider. I mentioned the spidey senses, but beyond that, there's an aspect of co-creation. I'm noticing also a lot more seeing the birds and seeing the insects and recognizing everything as symbolic reflection, and working with the elements, you know, working with the earth and the elements in this continual, really letting go of a lot of attachment to old constructs with regards to relationship as well. So Gemini and cross-pollinate is come up. So for a lot of us, as we release old, new people, and then like new cross-pollinate. I think about doing an interview with John Binney, because I'm a fairy. I'm an independent. I'm a solitary worker as a rule, or just South Node in my first house in Capricorn. And yet, North Node in Cancer and Pluto moving into Aquarian energy is very much being like, work. As in, this wasn't, I didn't intend to go live. I do these every week for my Patreons. And sometimes I publicize them, but like I didn't even put the title because in my mind I was gonna make it unlisted and then go back and put the title in. So this is a weekly share. This is just a weekly share that I do every week. I just for various reasons, and part of it was that I would get triggered by random bots and stuff that would comment, and so I felt like I couldn't be as clear of a channel. But here we are, another like mind and heart holding space in this serendipitous live share. So thanks for being here, Divine Sight and Elia. Like, wow. And check everybody out, you know, like this community, to me, we've been on it for so long, and it's like such good work is happening for sure. For sure. Like I can't even, I can, it just is, it is the life. But it's wild to me that I was looking through my photos, and so many years ago, that fuckery post, I will send it to you. But then this is relevant, right? Gemini and cross-pollinate. Me doing an interview with John Binney. John Binney is a cross-pollinator. He's constantly working with other people, doing interviews, doing shares, right? So this is an ushering of more co-creation, more collaboration and cross-pollination, right? That's like flying a bone and like putting all those seeds in the earth to grow, because we're growing a new planet from within. But of course, once we put the seeds in, we're not in control. We let it go. It's rising up, right? It's materializing beyond our conscious control. And that's hence being present, being grounded, continuing the work. We're still processing the shadow. It's just that we're getting better and better at processing. And so it's moving faster. That's all. Still there. I don't know about you. I'm still processing the shadow. I'm just better at it now. After many years, after over a decade, it's just become quicker. So I can move through, and or I can more consciously pick and choose. Oh, I remember that. Am I going to go into that, or am I just going to move through it? So moving through it is getting quicker. Oh, nice. Oh, lovely. I like those cards. So some of our spiritual advice or workings here. A lot of water energy. For some of you, there could be a King of Cups coming in, or a Knight of Cups, or somebody that's grown, somebody who's wanting to make an offer. This is a water sign. You can totally do what you like with the genders. Knight of Cups and King of Cups. Somebody who, ooh, maybe this is somebody from the past, or somebody who might not feel good enough, might not feel successful enough, but they're coming. They're coming in for you. There's an upgrade, there's a glow up, there's a maturation with this cup energy. It does feel romantic. It does feel partnership inclined. I just want a bit of clarity. Why is the Six of Wands reversed? I mean, a lot of it could just be the uncertainty. Like I've not been as successful as I want, or I'm not quite there, but I'm still gonna make this request, or I'm still gonna come forward. Oh, okay. Something about like ships coming in. So this is like maybe a long-standing partnership, or somebody returning from the past, or somebody brand new coming in. When you make an offer, listen, I have this idea, or I have this project that I'm working on, and it's not like fully out there, or it's not, you know, a complete success yet. It's the ships have not come in, but they are coming in, especially as we release, let go, and die to these old structures. maybe a little bit broadly speaking or collectively speaking, like what I am talking about, of new earth communities, new paradigm communities, bing, like, which for a lot of us on that level, we've seen them, we are them, we're witnessing and still knowing that there's like, from a pure numbers point of view, we might be a minority, but there's the pioneering energy. The pioneering energy is usually pioneering on its own, right? Or very few. That's what grassroots. It's like you can barely see it, and then bosh, you see it. These communities are going to keep popping up everywhere around the planet to disengage the mindful contract of the collective agreement of the old paradigm. So allowing these new people to come in, regardless of what it looks like, and regardless of like, well, the ships haven't come in yet. So it's like this person as well, or for some reason I'm thinking people, like this person or people, they might, again, they might not feel good enough, or they might not, but they're going to come and deliver a message. They're going to work really well for you to generate more financial kickback. Some of you, this could be marriage, or this could be leading to some sort of celebration. The Emperor in this image is making me think of a kind of higher order. It's like surrendering to like the divine emperor, the Christ, the universe, rather than three-dimensional. I just got a weird insert too about like taxation and economy, and how there could be a sway in the collective for many of us in our cultures to collectivize in a form of protest to stop paying taxes in alignment with a higher divine grace and order, so that we keep so that we start to disenfranchise and keep the resources for ourselves. Do with that what you will. The temple and the siren. Oh yeah, I'll go back. Some of the final messages from the spiritual oracle decks is like, we remember the divine temple is the body itself, and that for some of you there could be a deeper dive into alchemical wisdom that beautifies the temple, and or that's also giving me the impression of the blood, the wisdom of the womb. Then that also brings me into the dark feminine, but I'm not talking bad or which like demonic-y, manipulative, deceptive dark feminine. I'm talking about those aspects of self that have been in the shadows. It could be around our sexuality and our sensuality, and using our sexual energy as a co-creative life force, so that we're not frightened or shamed by our sexual energy, but we're purifying that energy to allow it to beautify us. So we're becoming more of the Sophia energy. We're becoming more of the Regenesis energy, the divine healers, right? That when we're working through those layers, there can be a lot of fear, because there can be a lot of visceral cellular memory of times of persecution or banished energy when we were exiled, or worse, tortured and killed. So we're deep diving into these realms to then rise the temples, the divine Regenesis and the Holy Christ. Ooh, Shkibo. Hi, we're gonna close her down. This has been so divine side. I'm in a new space. I'm living right by the water now as well, and it was all a bit turbulent, but clearly necessary, because I'm being this close to the sea is like the doctor's order that I didn't even know was necessary, because I loved the valley that I was living in. But the sea and the air and the views and being able to access the sea, I couldn't have asked for more. And it's sort of like a manifestation of a dream, but I wasn't in control. Like, I didn't consciously control moving. I had no desire to move, but there it was. Now I'm here and I'm looking at the blue skies and the rolling hills, and I trust that everyone else on their path will also find their way home, you know, to their next destination, or just that's a part of the Virgo signature as well. We might be having the impulse to clean and clear our physical spaces, to purify them, sage and deep cleaning and spring cleaning. Hala. OMG, I swear to God, I could like feel that. Like the vision I was getting was that you were in a hot tub. Like, dare I say, I'm like, yeah, that's the vision that I got, but with a few others with this. And I was being able to witness the moon this morning when I had a session at 5 in the morning. So what? Just fucking juicy. Well, we're both in the water. That's another clear Piscean signature. The water is going to be good for us. The water is going to be good for us. We'll hold space for the collective and continual natural water energies that might appear destructive, but it's all purging, cleaning, clearing to rise ourselves as the lighter beings that we know are within us. Because it's been a path, again, that we've followed for many years. It's all just getting more real, more actual high lightness. Blue flame, spontaneous awakening, activation, integration, and a holla Shazam. And a holla Shazam. Oh, thank you, Divine Sign. That's truly miraculous, my sisters. Sisters. Oh, I'll reach out anyway. I'll send that image across. And to my patrons, to this amazing community, thank you all for being a friend. May peace be with us all as we continue to navigate growing a more peaceful and loving planet. There is enough for everyone. We are all loved. We are all magic. And we have to trust in that protected, guided path. Be the star that you are. Trust in the intuition as we continue to refine and hone into that knowing, and have a magical evening. Thanks, John. Thanks, Divine Sight. Enjoy the bathtub or the hot tub. And I'll see you guys next time. I'll see you next week. Take care. Peace out. Yes, defo.